What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I promise that I've been trying really hard to get this video out. I filmed it like 3 different times already, and each time something was wrong, and I just wasn't about to put out something that I was not okay with putting out. So this is attempt number 3 of trying to get this video out, and this video is going to be the double beat part 2 video that I promised like 3 months ago. I know. So this video is going to be a little bit shorter, and it's going to be a little bit more theory based. It's going to be more of you and me talking kind of idea, and we're going to be talking about how you're going to take your drumming to the next level. And pretty much everything that you do, you know, there's a certain level when you start drumming at that level, and it's great, and you're doing really good, you're building chops, you're building technique. But there's the next level after that, which really has to do with cleaning up your drumming, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about right now. So it's going to be a lot of face-to-face theory with some examples that I'm going to show you about what I'm talking about. One thing I do want to say about this video in particular is that if you don't feel that you're quite up to the next part of your taking your drumming to the next level, don't sweat it. You don't have to tackle this exercise just yet. You don't have to think about what we're doing here just yet. This is just a part 2 to the double beat that we did before, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it now. There's still several videos in this series that I have planned out with the drumming basics that I want to get to, and it's perfectly okay for you to go through those videos first and then come back to double beat part 2, and then you can really start working on what it is that we're going to talk about. So if this is a little bit outside your comfort zone, which is perfectly okay if it is, save this video for later and come back when you feel that you're ready for this. As a single drummer, if you're doing your own thing, if you're playing in a band or something and you're the drum set player, or there's a single snare drummer somewhere where it's just you, then this kind of idea when it comes to playing in an ensemble doesn't really apply. But most snare drummers, most marching drummers in general, which is kind of what I'm talking about here, have to play in a group of, sometimes 2 other guys, 3 other guys, 6 other guys if you're in DCI. So you can have the greatest chops in the world, but if you're not playing your stuff in a measured and cohesive way, you're never going to be able to play with other people, which is really the biggest thing that you do in a marching ensemble, and really in any ensemble. Even in concert settings, you don't want to hear 7 different clarinets. You don't want to hear 5 different flutes. You want to hear 1 flute sound, 1 clarinet sound, and that goes for drum lines as well. And of course, it's going to help you everywhere musically. So like I was saying, it's really easy to just throw notes when you're drumming. Obviously, when you're learning to drum, it's a different story, and it's really easy to throw notes. So back to the question at hand, how do we clean ourselves as well as cleaning the people next to us? So I have a very distinct philosophy when it comes to that, and it's really a mathematical philosophy. The best way, in my opinion, to play clean is to play perfectly in time. Every note that you play as a percussionist, or even as an instrumentalist, marimbist, anything like that, and every single note that you play has a subdivision at its core. If you're playing 16 notes, you're going to have a 16-note subdivision. If you're playing a combination of 16 notes and 8th notes, generally the subdivision is going to be the 16th note. Generally, your subdivision is going to be, for the most part, the smallest note that can be attributed to whatever it is that you are playing. So if you're playing relatively simple things that are based in 16 notes, which means you don't go any faster than a 16th note, you're going to apply a 16-note check pattern to that particular passage, which is what we're really talking about when we come to the double beat exercise. The double beat exercise, at least my double beat exercise, is based off a 16th note pattern. And I base it off a 16th note pattern for specifically that reason, so that you can clean up your 16-note pattern as best as you can. Basically, long story short, is play whatever you're playing as rhythmically precise as you can possibly make it. Now, instead of kind of just babbling on about this theory, I'm going to go ahead and talk about double beat and the best way that you can play it while demonstrating this idea. So as I was saying, double beat to be as clean as possible from drummer to drummer, from person to person, and really in yourself. You want to play double beat with a metronome. That's the number one thing I have to stress the fact that you got to play with a metronome no matter what. But I'm going to up the ante and say that you've got to play with a metronome perfectly in order to be as clean as you possibly can. Now, the more that you play, the easier it's going to be to play cleanly and as rhythmically accurate as you possibly can. But just to kind of demonstrate at the beginning, a fun little game that I like to play when I'm drumming is, it's really what I'm trying to do is trying to drown out the metronome whenever I play any kind of exercise, and I'm working on this kind of precise rhythmic accuracy that I'm talking about. So that's really what you should do with double beat to help bring your drumming to the next level. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the metronome right here that I have next to me. It's at 102 beats per minute, and I'm going to try and drown out every 2 notes in the first part and then every 3 notes in the second part. The first part's kind of the harder one to do the drowning out, and I'm going to do it on one hand just because it's probably easier, but the first section is harder. The second section is a little bit easier to drown out the first 3 notes in every beat. But I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot, and I'm going to demonstrate to you what it is that I'm talking about when I say drown out the metronome and try and get as rhythmically accurate as possible. Now, don't forget, keep in mind, you want to make sure that you're still playing with the best technique possible, with the best sound possible, while trying to fix your rhythmic accuracy. So let me go ahead and give this a try and see if we can kind of get the idea that I'm talking about in drowning out every 2 metronome clicks at the beginning and then every 3 at the end. So let's see what we can get out of this. Cool. So as you saw, I made a mistake. I clicked the other stick while I was playing, but I'm really glad that I did, because as I did that, you can hear the metronome come back. You know, it was actually pretty good. I mean, not to toot my own horn or anything, but it was pretty good. And as I played it and I messed up, the metronome came back, and for a few beats I was out from the metronome, and it took me a little bit of time to get back on, but that's the idea. That's pretty much the whole idea. That's how you're going to take your drumming to the next level, trying to be as rhythmically accurate as possible. And you can do some fun little things like this. I didn't get around to trying the 8 on a hand one, but that one's actually really fun, because if you put an 8th note track and you're playing 8 on a hand as perfectly as you possibly can, it's really easy to get lost and even wonder if the metronome is playing in the background. So I challenge you to go ahead and try this exercise if you're able to. If not, take your time, keep drumming, work on your technique, get that as solid as you possibly can, and then we can kind of start elevating your drumming from there. Thanks so much for stopping by. That's pretty much it for today's video. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you really like the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I don't know in what order these videos will come out in. I'm currently working on another video right now that's a little bit different from the lessons that I've been working on right now, but I think it's going to be fun. You know, we're going on a new journey together, so be on the lookout for that new type of video that's going to be coming out either before this one or after this one. You'll know what it is. It's not like anything I've ever posted on this channel before, so it'll be fun to go on this journey together. So again, thanks so much for stopping by, and hopefully we'll see you guys next time. See ya.